Welcome back to Fortress Feed, the show where we explore the cutting edge of digital security. Today, we have someone who's taken personal cybersecurity to an entirely new level. Your digital life is a fortress, and I can't wait to hear how you've built it. Let's start with the basics. What kind of computer do you use as your daily driver?
Thanks for having me. Yeah, I chose macOS because it offers a solid balance between usability and security. While Linux is fantastic for privacy, it doesn't support some of the software I need for work. macOS gives me the best of both worlds, a robust Unix-based system with widespread software support.
Makes sense. Usability is key, after all. Now, communication is a big part of our digital lives. How do you secure your daily messaging?
For messaging, Signal is my go-to. Its end-to-end encryption and privacy-first design make it ideal. I use it for everything: work, friends, family. For those who haven't made the switch, I stick to iMessage, but with some caveats. I've disabled SMS on all devices to avoid unencrypted texts. Plus, I've enabled advanced data protection on my iCloud account, so most of my data is end-to-end encrypted. However, I recognize that if others don't have it enabled, our conversations could be less secure on their end.
You didn't just stop at installing Signal, though. You took extra steps to enhance your privacy there, right?
Absolutely. I registered with a MySudo phone number that's not linked to anything else. After setting up, I enabled a username and made my phone number invisible to others on Signal. To lock it down further, I use a 128-character registration lock PIN. It might seem excessive, but it ensures my account remains uncompromised.
That's some serious commitment. Let's move on to email. Proton Mail is your primary service. What drew you to it?
Proton Mail offers strong security features like end-to-end encryption and zero-knowledge architecture, meaning they can't read my emails even if they wanted to. It automatically strips metadata from photos and proxies remote images to prevent tracking. I've secured my account with a hardware security key and have TOTP as a backup. Plus, features like dark web monitoring and Proton Sentinel give me peace of mind.
And for less urgent emails, you use Tuda?
Exactly. Tuda provides similar security features, but with a simpler interface. It's perfect for subscriptions or services that don't require immediate attention, but still need to be kept secure.
Your web browsing habits are just as fortified. Why choose Brave over other browsers?
Brave is built with privacy in mind. It's based on Chromium, so compatibility isn't an issue, but it blocks trackers and ads by default. For times when I need extra anonymity, I switch to the Mullvad browser or Tor.
You've also put a lot of thought into password management. Tell us about your setup with Strongbox.
Password management is crucial. I use Strongbox with a KeePass-compatible database stored on my Synology NAS. Access is through SFTP using SSH keys, and it's only available over a zero-knowledge VPN via Tailscale. The database is encrypted with a complex passphrase, a key file, and a hardware security key. It's like Fort Knox for passwords.
Speaking of your Synology NAS, you've integrated it into your home security as well, correct?
Yes, I use Synology Surveillance Station for home security. My cameras are blocked from internet access via firewall rules, and all footage is stored on an encrypted volume. Notifications are encrypted to my iOS devices, and I back everything up to Synology C2 Cloud with client-side encryption.
You've even secured your backups extensively. How do you handle sensitive data and ensure it's safe?
For sensitive files like TOTP seeds, I use Veracrypt with key files and complex passphrases. I keep an encrypted offline backup on an Apricorn hardware-encrypted USB drive stored off-site in a fireproof safe. Regular backups are automated, so I don't have to think about it constantly.
Your network security is just as impressive. How do you manage ad and tracker blocking across your devices?
At home, I run Pi-hole to block ads and trackers for IoT and guest devices. For my devices connected via Tailscale, I use NextDNS as the resolver, which filters out trackers, ads, and phishing links using AI algorithms. It's a layered approach that keeps unwanted content at bay.
About virtual machines. How do they fit into your security strategy?
I use UTM and Parallels to run virtual machines for task segregation. For example, I have a Honix VM dedicated to managing SSH keys for server access. This isolation ensures that even if one environment is compromised, the others remain secure.
And when accessing your servers,
I use Termius with SSH keys. Password authentication is disabled. Servers have strict firewall rules and are only accessible over Tailscale. It's all about minimizing attack surfaces.
On your macOS devices, you've added several layers of protection. Can you share some of those?
Sure, I run Sophos Endpoint for security and use Little Snitch to monitor outgoing connections. Microsnitch alerts me to any microphone or camera activation. For VPN, I use Tailscale with a Mulvad exit node. I also have Yubico Authenticator for TOTP codes, which is more secure than traditional apps.
How do you handle file sharing securely, especially with clients or friends who might not be as security conscious?
I use Synology C2 Transfer, which offers end-to-end encryption, expiring links, and access controls. For situations requiring anonymity, I turn to Onion Share. Before sharing photos, I use Metafo on iOS to strip or alter metadata. Plus, with lockdown mode enabled on my Apple devices, metadata is stripped automatically in certain apps like iMessage.
You've even gone as far as managing your personal information in the physical world. What's your approach there?
I use a virtual mailbox service to keep my home address private. Additionally, I employ services like Delete Me to remove my information from data brokers. I've also requested to have my home blurred on mapping services like Google Maps and Apple Maps.
Multi-factor authentication is a must these days. How have you implemented it across your accounts?
I enable MFA everywhere, prioritizing hardware security keys, then TOTP, and as a last resort, SMS. For SMS-based MFA, I use Google Voice because it's less susceptible to SIM swapping and benefits from Google's Advanced Protection Program. Any codes received are auto-forwarded to my Proton Mail for added security.
It's clear you've made yourself a significantly harder target than most. Any advice for listeners looking to bolster their own digital security?
Start small, but think big. Begin with strong, unique passwords and enable MFA on your accounts. Use encrypted messaging apps like Signal. Gradually incorporate more layers like VPNs, encrypted backups, and consider segregating tasks using virtual machines. Security is a journey, not a destination.
That's fantastic advice. Thank you for sharing your comprehensive approach to digital security. It's been an eye-opener.
My pleasure. I hope it inspires others to take their digital security seriously.
Absolutely. And to our listeners, remember, in the digital world, it's better to be a hard target than an easy one. Until next time on Fortress Feed, stay secure.